Have you ever noticed that there's this very specific, distinct moment when drone footage stops looking like, well, a drone and starts looking like actual cinema? Picture this for a second. You've got two people filming the exact same sweeping mountain landscape. They're using the exact same camera. Honestly, they might even be flying the exact same drone, like a DJI Mini 4 Pro. Yet somehow one person's shot feels like a shaky amateur home movie, and the other person's shot looks like it was ripped straight out of a premium National Geographic documentary. It's a total visual transformation. So what's the cinematic drone's secret here? Why does identical hardware produce such vastly different results? Well, in this explainer, we're going to unpack exactly what separates the amateurs from the professionals.
Okay, let's dive right into this, because this is honestly the very first hurdle every single drone pilot faces. Most of us, we take our amazing new drone out of the box, we select 4K resolution, mash the record button, and just start flying around. And hey, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that if you're just out having fun. But here is the core problem. The automatic settings on your drone are designed simply to make the footage technically usable. They're just making sure the image isn't totally black or completely blown out white. But they are absolutely not designed to make it cinematic. A cinematic image demands consistency in motion, in exposure, and in color. When you rely on auto settings, you're basically handing all of your creative control over to a tiny computer chip that's just constantly guessing and adjusting on the fly.
You can really see it when you put them side by side. There's a stark contrast between your typical vacation video and a cinematic film. That vacation look on the left, it relies heavily on auto settings. The flying is usually fast and a bit erratic, and it uses auto white balance, which means the colors are constantly shifting as the drone turns toward or away from the sun. It's distracting. Now look at the right side. The cinematic look demands manual control, a locked-in 180-degree shutter, and incredibly smooth, deliberate movement. The true secret, the actual reason the cinematic footage looks so breathtakingly professional, happens before you even press the record button. It's all about setting up your aircraft to capture consistent, controlled data.
All right, moving into our first section, the foundation: resolution, frame rate, and exposure.
So first up is resolution and frame rate. If you're going for that premium travel film look, 4K resolution at 30 frames per second is your absolute sweet spot. 4K gives you all that beautiful, rich detail you crave when capturing vast landscapes, down to the individual tree branches and the rough texture of rocky cliffs. But why exactly 30 frames per second? Well, 30 FPS gives you a really useful balance. It provides the smooth motion that modern audiences expect from high-end travel films, while still keeping the movement feeling natural and, well, film-like. Plus, and this is a great little insider trick, shooting at 30 FPS gives you the flexibility to comfortably slow your footage down to 80% on a standard 24 frames per second cinematic timeline later on when you're in the editing room. But wait, frame rate is really only half of the equation here. So the crucial point to remember is the 180-degree shutter rule. This is literally one of the oldest, most fundamental rules in cinematic motion. The rule basically states that you have to keep your shutter speed at approximately double your frame rate. So since we're shooting at 30 frames per second, we need our shutter speed locked in at 1/60th of a second. Why does this matter so much? Because it creates natural motion blur. If your shutter speed gets cranked too high, the movement becomes unnaturally sharp, staccato, and frankly, it ends up looking exactly like a hyper-realistic video game. The goal of cinematic footage isn't actually to have maximum sharpness in every single pixel. The goal is natural, fluid movement that mimics how the human eye actually sees the world.
Now I know exactly what you're thinking. If you lock your shutter speed to 1/60th of a second and then fly your drone in the blazing midday sun, your image is going to be completely overexposed, just blown out white. The automatic camera's instinct is to crank up the shutter speed to fix that brightness, but as we literally just learned, that completely ruins our cinematic motion blur. This is exactly where ND filters step in to save the day. Think of ND filters as a pair of really high-quality sunglasses for your camera lens. They cut down the amount of light hitting the sensor, which allows you to beautifully maintain that 1/60th shutter speed no matter how insanely bright it is outside. For bright midday sun, dropping an ND64 filter on there is typically your best friend. But if you're shooting during the gorgeous, slightly dimmer light of sunrise or sunset, swapping to an ND16 will give you crisp, sharp shots while perfectly protecting all those moody shadow details.
Next up, let's look at unlocking professional drone color.
The very first step to getting professional color is utilizing a setting called D-Log-M. Now, if you've never used it before, D-Log-M is a flat color profile. And let me warn you, straight out of the drone, this footage is going to look incredibly disappointing. It's flat, it's totally desaturated, and it looks, well, almost completely lifeless. But I really want you to completely reframe how you think about this. That lifeless look, that is exactly the point.
Log footage preserves maximum dynamic range. Instead of the drone baking a heavily saturated, high-contrast look right into your video file while you record, it saves all that precious light and color data. Think of D-Log-M not as a finished, ready-to-post photograph, but as the raw clay for your final film. It gives you endless flexibility in post-production to bring back the rich shadows of the forest and the warm, vibrant colors of a sunset exactly the way you envision it.
And to maintain that professional color, you absolutely must lock your white balance. And this brilliantly illustrates why. Please, whatever you do, never use auto white balance for cinematic video. If you leave it on auto, the camera is going to constantly reinterpret the colors as you fly over a landscape. 1 second, your shot looks perfectly warm, then you turn toward a shadowy valley and suddenly everything turns completely cool and blue. It totally destroys your continuity. You want all your shots to actually look like they belong in the exact same film, right? So manually lock in your Kelvin values depending on your lighting condition. Dial in 5600 Kelvin for bright daylight, drop it down to 3200 Kelvin for the golden hours of sunrise and sunset, and push it somewhere between 6000 and 7000 Kelvin for those moody, cloudy, overcast days.
Okay, time for my favorite part, hidden flight controller settings. Let's break down these dense, highly specific controller values, because I promise you this is where your drone truly transforms from a consumer tech gadget into a fluid cinema camera. First up, lower your yaw speed to around 25 degrees per second. This completely stops that harsh, jerky left-to-right panning. Next, set your yaw smoothness to somewhere between 20 and 30. This ensures that when you finally let go of the control stick, the drone gradually eases to a stop instead of just jerking to a sudden halt. Then we have the expo settings. These dictate how the drone reacts to your thumbs. By lowering these down to between 0.13 and 0.24, you're flattening the curve. This means the drone doesn't instantly dart off the second you touch the stick. Instead, it gently and gradually builds movement. Finally, lower that gimbal max control speed all the way down to about 9 degrees. If your camera tilts up and down too fast, it looks totally unnatural. Slowing the gimbal ensures a majestic, sweeping cinematic feel.
All right, let's put this into practice with Section 3, 3 cinematic drone movements. Now that our settings are dialed in, let's move to the physical action and see how this builds. These settings allow you to execute 3 highly reliable, deliberate camera moves that you can use literally anywhere. Step 1 is the push in. This is where you slowly and steadily move forward towards your subject while maintaining a perfectly controlled, unchanging altitude. Step 2 is the reveal. For this, you start your drone hidden behind something, a tree, a building, maybe a hill, and slowly rise or glide sideways to dramatically unveil the sweeping landscape behind it. It's such a classic move. And step 3 is the orbit. This is where you keep your subject perfectly stable right in the center of the frame, while the epic landscape dynamically moves and shifts all around it.
But listen, no matter which of those 3 moves you're executing, there is one overriding rule you absolutely must follow. Are you ready? Fly slower than you think you should. I literally cannot emphasize this mantra enough. When you're up there holding the controller, your adrenaline is pumping, and it is so incredibly easy to fly fast. But cinematic footage isn't about speed at all. It's about letting the landscape breathe. You want to give your viewer time to actually look at the beautiful environment you're capturing. A sudden, fast stick movement instantly reminds the audience, all right, I'm watching a drone video. Slow, deliberate, smooth motion completely hides the technology. It makes the camera feel totally invisible. And that really brings us to the core philosophy of everything we've talked about in this explainer today, perfectly summarized by this quote: fly less, see more. When the camera becomes invisible, that's when the landscape finally becomes the film. You see, cinematic drone footage is never created just by pressing record and zipping around like crazy. It's meticulously crafted by controlling light through ND filters and shutter speed, by preserving color through D-Log-M and locked white balance, and by mastering motion through those hidden controller settings. That level of control is what ultimately creates genuine emotional impact for the viewer. So, the next time you power up your drone, don't just look at the scenery. Look at the light. Look at the movement. Look at the story unfolding right below you. Now that you're armed with a secret recipe, the exact hardware settings and flight techniques that professionals use, what hidden story will your landscape tell? I really hope you feel inspired, hungry, to get out there and ready to fly with a totally new perspective. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I absolutely can't wait to explore our next topic with you. Keep learning and keep creating.